Morning, Ivan.
Hello, everyone.
Morning. Oh, afternoon.
Afternoon, morning for different people, different. Hello, hello. Gonna wait for a couple of more minutes for everyone to join. Yeah, the webinar is recorded, so we will post it afterwards on YouTube. Perfect. Well, welcome everyone. Nice to have everyone here. Thank you for interest. And this webinar will take around 45, 60 minutes. Um, My name is Ivan. I'm a CEO of Valkyrie Industries, and we're developers of airbands. That's why you're here to learn about airbands and what they do. These are the neuromuscular stimulation wearables. So today we will touch on what are airbands, how they work, what they can do, and where can you use them for. So airbands can be used for various different applications: muscle training, neurological rehabilitation, pain relief, as well as gaming and immersive experience. I think here we'll have several developers who might be interested in that. So we'll talk about that as well. And I will show you a demo of one of our experiences, of one of our applications, mobile application specifically. This will take probably 15 minutes, and then we'll go and just open the stage for any questions. So we'll start from a couple of words of myself. So I'm a physicist by background. I did PhD in nanotechnology here in London at UCL. I worked at Imperial College on wearable electronics and co-founded Valkyrie Industries in 2017. Since then, was working on immersive experiences, wearable hardware, but as well I teach product design at University of Arts London and organize various immersive events. We're having one of the immersive events tomorrow in London, so if everyone is around, you're welcome. You're welcome to come. Uh, okay, so since 2017, we have been working on various immersive wearables and various applications in the field of industrial training, robotic teleoperation, creativity, fitness, and gaming. We worked on hardware, including haptic gloves, full body suits, and released several of them and released multiple virtual reality apps that you can still find on Steam or on MetaQuest. And over the last 4 years, we have been working on our modular device airbands and specifically applying them for fitness and physiotherapy. And yeah, here are the results of our 4 years, the airbands. This is a hardware, but where this device shines actually is in its hardware and wearable and software combo. So it's interactive wearable, which allows you to connect any immersive or interactive experiences with electrical muscle or neuromuscular stimulation in real time. So it can be used for various different applications that I mentioned. One is general fitness, and I'll touch a bit on that. Muscle training, hypertrophy. It can be used for pain relief and muscle recovery. So, for example, after various different after injury or after training, um, after you had a very intense training, and you can use it as a massage, for example, as well as for physiotherapy. And some guests at this webinar, I know they work in neurological therapy, so these devices can be used both for neurological and musculoskeletal therapy. And as I mentioned already, it can be used for gaming and interactive experiences. And some of them were shown at various different events previously already. And I will just show quickly a short video of water airbands and how they work. And you might have seen this video, but I'll show you again for sake of fullness. So you use gel pads that allow you to connect to your skin and allow current to go through the muscle or through the nerve. And then the devices connect to the interactive application. It can be either mobile application or virtual reality one. On our YouTube, you can see this video with audio. Here, I'm not sharing the audio. Cool. So this is the video, and here I will show you a quick demo as well of the devices. So the video is one thing, but second thing is to see how you can actually use it and what you can make out of it. So if you buy airbands, you get this box. This box has instruction manual, has charging cables, and has this carry case with airbands inside. You have two types of possibility for airbands, either short ones like that, which are around 10 centimeters, and longer ones like that, which you can get over your biceps and triceps. So they are long ones. In addition, you can buy small ones and then get an extension lead that will allow you to make them longer and apply it for different places or for larger muscles, for example. So there's a customization that you can already have on the hardware side. When you start with any electrical muscle stimulation or neuromuscular stimulation, you usually have electrodes that you attach to your muscles, and I will show you some of them. So we have two types of electrodes. One's 5 by 5 centimeters. Another one is 5 by 9 centimeters for different muscles. So electrodes like that. And I will show you how easy it is to attach them. So you take the electrode. They have this gel that can be reused. So the electrode can be reused. You put them on your muscle. For example, I want to work on my finger flexors. So I put them on my muscle, on the belly of the muscle, and somewhere on the other side. So for example, these two places here, and I'll put it on the other muscle, for example, on the biceps as well. They put it on the muscle. You can use the magnetic snaps of the device to snap to the position. And now it hangs, and the other electrode. And so you have already the one device connected to your muscle, and then the other device connected to the other muscle. Why I'm using two devices? You can use one device if you want. You can use two devices. We offer up to 4 devices working in parallel, in tandem. So you can either buy a pair of airbands or you can buy 4 airbands for various different applications. So after you have them, you turn them on. They shine different colors. One is blue, one is pink. And here I'll share the screen again, and I'll share what you see on the screen of a phone. For example, here's the screen of my phone, and we have 2 different mobile applications. One is airbands application that airbands come with naturally, and then if you work in neural therapy or physiotherapy, you can get another application called vHealth Mobile. Well, actually, I didn't want to start it. I will start the other application. I'll start the simple one, the airbands. So after you log in into the application, you can connect to the devices. They, as usual, electrical muscle stimulation device. You don't want to use it if you have a defibrillator or a pacemaker, or if you're pregnant and you put it next to abdomen. So this is very important to know before you start that. And then you connect to the airbands. The connection is Bluetooth, so it's real-time connectivity under 100 millisecond delay. And here you see this simple categories: muscle performance, pain management. So I'll start with muscle performance. Here we have several different presets that can be used for general fitness. So I'm putting this on these muscles to train my strength. And I go, for example, I start with pro strength. I can choose, let's say I'm choosing 10 minutes. And here I have 10 minutes of certain mode of the stimulation. This graph will show the envelope of the intensity. So intensity will go up and down. And here you can see the pulse width and frequency. And you can control this pulse width and frequency pretty broadly. So one thing you can do is you can either just start, and it tells you press buttons plus to calibrate it. And you can then start increasing the stimulation until you start feeling it. And so I will be showing you when the stimulation goes up, the intensity starts moving my hand. So you see how it kind of closed my hand. I will increase the intensity a bit more so that you can see it much better. So I've just activated my muscle, my bicep, and when the graph goes to 0, my biceps goes to no intensity. And again, stimulation starts, and I have intensity of my biceps on my finger flexors. And this goes for 10 minutes in either in a passive mode, or you can connect with certain exercises. For example, you actually doing a dumbbell lift, or you're doing certain movement, and with this movement, stimulation helps you finish this movement or helps you work with certain movement, whether it's a therapeutical movement or whether it's just a muscle training movement. So this is one example. I will stop that and I'll go to another category, for example, pain management to muscle recovery. I will show you one example where it gives you slightly different sensations. You see the frequency here is 10 hertz, and 10 hertz, you will see it on the video in a second. 10 hertz gives you this vibration. Maybe you can see the vibrations on my muscles. This is 10 hertz stimulation, and depends on your applications, you can change this frequency. So for pain relief, you want to go slightly lower frequency. For neurological recovery, you want to be around 20 to 40 hertz. And for if you want to fatigue your muscles very quickly, so for example, for fitness, you want to go to higher frequency, 80 to 100 hertz. Sometimes some people say that for pain relief, you want to change frequency in order for your body not to get used to it. So that's the simplest demo that we have here. I can show you some others if you ask more questions. We have different experiences where you have muscle stimulation together with audio. For example, here if you start the experience, you start hearing the sound on your mobile phone. So when you're getting stimulation and then you're getting calming sound, that's overall works on you psychologically, reduces your anxiety over your, for example, chronic pain, and at the same time uses electrical stimulation to reduce your pain neurologically through pain gating mechanism. I can talk about it a bit more if you have any questions. So there's a quick demo. How it works, you see it's pretty easy to start, pretty easy to run. Then you just take them off and they will turn off automatically, or you can turn the devices off, and that's it. now they said that airbands are disconnected, and you're done. So that's a demo. I'm opening the floor to the questions. Happy to respond to any. Thank you very much. You can either write it in a chat or just say it out loud. It's a Zoom. You can just join. Okay, so one question on the chat: can they measure muscle activation performance? No, this is stimulator devices, not to confuse with EMG devices, which is electromyography devices, which measure stimulation, so measure muscle activation. We actually stimulate, so it's not a reader of your muscle activation. It's a stimulator or actuator, so it activates your muscles. It doesn't read anything. This is what advantage does this give an athlete doing resistance training? With muscle stimulation, you can get more muscle fibers activated. So if an athlete or any sportsman is doing certain activity, they activate certain fibers and they get used to activating certain fibers. Muscle stimulation can actually activate more muscle fibers and get much more recruitment. It's called recruitment of muscle fibers. So you get more training throughout your usual routine. So in addition to your usual routine, you can get stimulation, and this will increase the intensity of the training. That's how it can work. If I have more muscle fibers activated, does this mean I need to spend less time training? Yes. It depends on what your goals are. If your goals are increase strength, then you can still spend the same amount of time. You just get more return on how much do you spend. So if you want to get the same level of intensity, then yeah, you can reduce the time spent training. If happy to answer any more questions, and at the same time I can talk a bit more about different applications if no one has any questions. Okay, cool. There's several questions. Okay, so the question: do we feel the stimulation physically can be used as haptic system? Yes. Can it be used as haptic system? Yes, exactly. You can definitely feel it, and it's very different for different people. Well, and at different levels. So the sensations that I have on the forearm or sensation I have on the biceps, they're similar, but can be slightly different. Initially, at a very low level, you feel it as a bit of buzzing, a bit of pins and needles. Then at some point, you start getting much more intense activity in your muscles, and then at some point the muscles start activating. We have so you can use any of these levels to get haptic feedback. So it's either a touch on the skin, or it can be some sort of resistance in, for example, virtual reality. And we have an application called Air Training, that you can download from MetaQuest store with VR that allows you to experience almost like resistance like sensations in VR. So when you grab objects in virtual reality, you feel uh, how they and I will show you a small video of this is an uh, air training video that's is on MetaQuest, and that's how it approximately works. So you see, you put devices on the biceps and triceps, and then when you grab, you have controllers, and obviously in the beautiful environments, uh, and then you can, when you punch objects, when you grab objects, you feel it in your muscles. You feel it on your biceps and triceps. So, for example, if you hit something, you feel it in the jolt in your biceps and triceps. If you grab some object, you feel it. You feel it in the biceps and triceps. For example, if it's elastic band, the more you pull elastic band, the more you feel it in your biceps. It's continuous response of the stimulation, depends on your physical interactions and physical force. So it gives you almost like resistance in virtual reality, which is amazing feeling, and I hope everyone will be able to try it. But as I mentioned, you can, because app is on the market and devices are on the market, so you can do that. And for the haptic system, we offer SDK. We offer Unity SDK for developers. So if you get the devices, we can add you to our SDK so you can build your own experiences with airbands. Okay, next question. Over the period of time, will my muscle reaction will be the same, or will it decrease as they get immune enough for the signal? So it's similar. The answer is it's similar to like you would normally have a training in a gym. So if you start with 5 kilos and you do bicep curls, and if you've never done biceps curls before, you will get tired. Next day you will feel muscle soreness, and you will do it many times. And after a week, you say, okay, 5 kilos is too little. I need to go higher. I need to go to 7. I need to go to 9. I need to go so on. So here it will be the same. You start with medium level stimulation where you just feel it, and then you slowly progress. You can go to high levels and you can go to high levels. So it will not get immune to the signal. Your muscle will get acclimatized kind of. Another question from Leonardo: are the airbands medical device for electrotherapy or not? Are not medical device. Yes, the devices currently are not regulated as medical device. We are working on that. So we're working on FDA, and hopefully end of this year we'll get them fully accepted as medical device. In the US, it's FDA 510K. We kind of done around 70% of all the tests. We need slightly to finish all of them. But in Europe and the UK, you already can use them as the exercise equipment. So like fitness training. Cool. Another question. May I please ask what is the main friction with adoption for rehab? So it's a good question. I think I can spend 1 hour on the question of friction for rehab, and Laurie is laughing because she knows. That's different things. It's sometimes the therapists actually don't know much about functional electrical stimulation, or they were not taught. In the UK, probably 20 years ago, in the therapy university departments, people were taught that they can use electrotherapy, but 10 years ago, it kind of, for some reason, is not in the curriculum anymore, even though government recommendations state that you can use electrical stimulation for stroke recovery. Then friction, for example, in the UK is it's not everyone. NHS doesn't really have a lot of money, so you need to really try to prove that this device will work for this particular patient perfectly, and you still need to really do a lot of work in order for the payer or for insurance or for NHS to really pay for the device. So I think that's a kind of main friction. From Vaidehi, maybe you can talk about it a bit more. Can this be combined with EMS? If you mean EMS is electrical muscle stimulation, this is electrical muscle stimulation. So it is electrical muscle stimulation. So the question, I think, is a bit confusing. Crazy. That's not the question.
Can I ask one question?
Of course.
When you have two different channels, can you set the pulse width differently for each channel?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
Currently, you cannot. You can definitely set intensities different for different
Mhm.
channels, but pulse width, and if you really need that, we can think about it, because if you
Okay.
create your own software, you can definitely make sure that you can do that. But
Okay.
currently, we're not allowing that. Mhm. Okay, Vaidehi asking, what is the metric of difference for adding electrical muscle stimulation to a fitness? For example, 10% more, mass added over X hours. It's a bit different for different people. Some research claims that you can get 70% more intensity if you're using electrical muscle stimulation on top of your usual fitness routines. But it's different for different levels. It's like if you add 1 kilo on top of your usual, if you, for example, if you do boxing, if you have 1 kilo dumbbells, or if you have 10 kilo dumbbells, it will be very different depending on the levels. So I cannot really answer your question with accuracy.
I have a question.
Of course.
Good morning and thanks for the presentation. My question was that at a certain moment you mentioned about developers that you can provide like the hardware. On top of that, developers can implement software or logic for specific customization.
Yeah, that's true. So we have a Unity SDK. Currently, it's for Android, but we're working on iOS and on Windows as well. So you can definitely use it already with Android applications on the phones, like I showed, with virtual reality headset. Yeah, that's the main thing. Virtual reality has like MetaQuest and mobile apps. Yeah.
So, but that is if I'm a developer, it means that I buy 1 or 2 units of air bands, and all these units can be customized by developers, or should I ask a specific form of air bands open for development?
No, so all of them are the same because our SDK has like a low level backend that connects to the devices, that allows all the security connection, and then on top of that we expose the intensity, pulse width, frequency, and we of the stimulation, and then we give you as well different tools to create different envelopes of stimulation, so that you can quickly build your own experiences. But you need to email us so that we can whitelist you, and you need like to sign documents saying like it's not
Okay, but there is this possibility. That was just my question. Right? Okay, thank you very much.
We already have several developers working, and actually I don't have video with me right now, but there was some nice work done on using 3D cameras and muscle stimulation for physiotherapy.
I guess by Dominic Bush, one of my friends and colleagues. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he used exactly that. He used our SDK, and he already gave very good feedback. So we're already improving on his feedback.
Thank you.
It's okay. There's maybe some confusion of what is electrical muscle stimulation and functional electrical stimulation. This is just the different names for essentially the same underlying technology. So electrical stimulation is an umbrella term, and then you can say, okay, if I'm stimulating muscle, it's called electrical muscle stimulation. If I'm stimulating superficial nerves, I'm calling it a TENS, or transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. If I'm using to stimulate both muscles and nerves, it's neuromuscular electrical stimulation. Or if I'm using this to stimulate a certain movement, certain functional movement, either if a person has a foot drop syndrome and they need to lift the toes, or if they need to grab a glass or do some functional movement, then it would be called functional electrical stimulation. Essentially, that's kind of the same thing. You're stimulating muscles and nerves, and this will give you certain either functional or muscle recruitment or different outcomes. Cool. So I can I don't know if we have any more questions, or if anyone wants to ask or wants me to talk a bit more about certain aspects of airbands. I'm very happy to do that.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Hi, so I really apologize for if I've misunderstood. I'm just so interested. Is there a way to measure the muscle stimulation happening in real time? So I could be like, for a demo, here's somebody doing the exercise without stimulation going on. Here's someone doing it with stimulation going on. And as opposed to just being able to like see how much your device is like performing and like the metrics of your actual device performance, instead seeing the metrics of like the patient's like biomechanical like performance, like, oh, they're going this much harder, and like, you know, in the context of like their muscles are this much more activated. And earlier I got confused. I thought maybe you said there is a way to do that.
So not with our devices. You need to add additional devices, and
Yeah.
which will be probably EMG devices. You can add EMG devices to
Oh, sorry,
measure
that's
muscle
what
activation. Yeah. So
so
you can do that.
may I ask what made you decide to use this as opposed to EMG? Because clearly like you could easily use EMG, right? Or is there some sort of advantage to using what you've used?
As I mentioned already, EMG and EMS are different different directions. So EMG is measuring muscle activity.
Okay.
So if I'm doing movement myself, I know if the muscle is active or not, and I'm measuring that. Stimulation is stimulating. So it's difference like camera versus display. It's either input or output. So we're using stimulation. So it's an actuator that activates your muscles, not measuring. So it's just different direction of information going.
Oh, amazing. So have you explored combining the two technologies so you have that loop?
We looked at it. We didn't pursue it. We're waiting for someone to come and say, "Oh, I'm happy to build something," and they would build that.
No, I'm very interested in potentially doing something like that. So thank you.
Cool. And Leonardo asked to know more about neuro rehabilitation applications of airbands. Yes, it's definitely within the scope of this presentation. So we have different directions. And so as mentioned before, one of the applications is stimulating nerves, stimulating both nerves and muscles. And for people with neurological disorders like stroke or spinal cord injury or MS, they have broken connection between brain, for example, motor cortex, and the peripheral nervous system and movement, like hand movement, and stimulation can stimulate those neural pathways and increase the strength of those neural pathways. And it's been shown in research for a while. Some of the sometimes it's not been very well adopted because a lot of those devices are bulky with a lot of cables, and sometimes it's very difficult. It takes a lot of time to set up those systems. That's why our system is so easy to use. That's why we think it's so easy to use, because it's just one device, two gel pads. Even a stroke patients with severe hemiplegia can use only one hand to position electrodes and put them on their impaired side. Just use one hand and use it at home. So we have two applications in neurorehabilitation. One of them is a mobile app, similar to what I've showed. Actually, maybe I will show you. Yes, I will share the screen again, just to quickly show how it works. So that's why Dr. already mentioned the vHealth mobile app. So this is the application that specifically made for neurological rehabilitation. It starts with a setup guide. For example, you can position it on different muscles if you want to work on different specific movement. If you want to work on finger flexion, finger extension, if you want to work on supination, pronation, maybe on as well elbow extension and so on. So this is suggested positions of electrodes, and then the same it's connected the same way because the same base technology. And after you connect, you have different users. If you are in a clinic, you can have different patients that you track. Here you have 4 channels. As I mentioned, bands can work with 1, 2, 4 channels. Here you have 4 channels, and you first you calibrate them. And here you can change presets, so frequency and pulse width, you can change them in the increments of 5. And there's several presets for this frequency and pulse width. And next, what's very useful here is that you can create various intensity envelopes. We call it intensity sequences, which allow you to make different functional movements. So I'll give an example of a functional movement. For example, it's called reach, grasp, and release. This is one of the movements that a lot of stroke patients struggle with. So you need to reach, you need to open your hand, you need to grab something. For example, we have here the cone. A lot of neurological patients, they struggle with opening the hand. So you can put stimulation on your extensor. So you open the hand, you close the hand, and you bring it back, and you let it go. So, for example, this is very simple movement for able-bodied people, but of course for stroke patients, spinal cord patients, they might struggle with that. So how does it work? Here's this button for the information that helps you position electrodes correctly. So here we suggest you position it on the shoulder flexion, also on a deltoid, then on the forearm extensor for opening the hand, for forearm or finger flexion for closing the hand, and then here we suggest as well the thumb position for certain movement, for closing the hand as well. So you can position them in slightly different ways, but this is one of the suggestions. And here at the top you see the video that shows how this will approximately be carried out. After you position electrodes correctly, you start this program. And what it does, it might be a bit messy right now, but you can look at each of the channels independently. So channel 1 is blue graph. So it will go up, stay, and go down. B is the other one graph, C is this, and D is this. So you have 4 different muscle movements which will start and move around, depends on where in the movement you are. So you start with shoulder, you start maybe if you put it on the, for example, on the triceps, you can extend your arm. This is the first movement that you do, you extend your arm. Then after you extend your arm, you start stimulation on your extensor, you open the arm. Then you close so open your hand. Then you close your hand and bring it back, then you open it again. And this then you can change the duration of this particular. So if, for example, if patient's really struggling, you can say, okay, let's do it in 20 seconds. Let's do the whole movement in 20 seconds. And then you can let's do 10 repetitions. And the person does this 10 repetitions. It's very useful for, of course, as I mentioned, functional tasks. We have several of them here. Grab and lift for 2 channels or for 4 channels. And then you yourself as a therapist can actually control the movement fully. So you can really move all the nodes and say, for my movement, I need to have this kind of envelope, and then you can save that, and then you can save this for certain, and it will save on your app.
When you're doing custom sequences, are you able to tell it which color assign a particular muscle to the color?
So you will need to write to kind of put it in the somewhere in the description. So yeah, it's it doesn't matter. Like the blue, for example, it's the blue device. So
yeah.
Blue. The second one is purple. Then you would need to know where you position the blue one. For example, you position the blue one on the shoulder, and then you will need to always position it on the shoulder. But this particular application allows you to do everything. So this is specifically for therapists who wants to do everything. This is not for patients. For patients, it's too much variability.
Oh, of course. So then if I as a therapist can do everything, can I, as I'm building a sequence, can I link it to those photos as well, where it's showing each channel the way you did?
So That's we're thinking about adding that. We don't have
Okay.
it yet. We don't have it
Okay.
yet. So currently, you would need to have a additional either document or something where you would.
Okay. I want everything, Yvonne, so.
I understand. Cool. So this is one of the neurological applications. We have another one connected with virtual reality that again I will show you in a second. This is connecting movement. As I mentioned before, you can connect movement together with stimulation. So if a person moves a certain way and cannot finish the movement, then we can add stimulation for it for a participant to finish the movement. For example, here you see the stroke patient. She in a clinic. She's grabbing virtual cubes and putting them in a certain position. Stimulation helps her open the hand, close the hand in the right place, and again open the hand in the right place. And the therapist can see what the patient is doing and then control the intensity. For example, if the intensity is not enough or intensity is already too big, so you can reduce it. So this is one of the, I will show you again. We're doing currently clinical study with King's College London and Hobbs Rehabilitation with like 30 patients doing half an hour of virtual reality and electrical stimulation experiences. And currently they're all happy. So even it doesn't really depend on the age. We have from 40 years old to 70 years old, have from very low mobility to relatively modest to good mobility, and everyone actually enjoys the experience pretty well. The virtual reality is not available right now. The mobile application is available. Okay. I don't know if we can. If you Leonard, if you have any other questions about neurorehabilitation, we can go through neurorehabilitation. Okay, cool, good. Okay, I'll continue with the questions from any side effects, as it's a stimulation device. Can long exposure of this cause ill effects? So if you have very high exposure, then yes, high exposure for a long time in principle, yes, but it's actually, if you're using for half an hour up to 2 hours, no side effect, no big side, no like very strong side effects were seen in similar devices. Maybe you can get a bit of burn if you have very high intensity for a long time. Otherwise, it's pretty safe in comparison actually with these devices are used for drug-free pain relief, and these devices have less side effects than drugs. If you would be able to get it to hands on the dev kit, yes, you can get hands on a dev kit. I think we will be able to sell it to you as an R&D device. We don't have regulations, certifications for selling in India. We're currently selling it in the UK and Europe. Everywhere else, it needs to be an R&D product. So we can definitely send it to India and send access to the SDK. And Vaideh asked, does it detect when you're opening and closing your hand? As I mentioned, it doesn't detect anything. If you're using it in virtual reality, it uses hand tracking to detect if you're opening and closing the hand. Without VR, it does not detect. Yeah, exactly. It cannot detect, it can make you feel. I think this is a good slogan we will we'll use later.
Any thoughts to adding like accelerometers?
We have space for accelerometer on the PCB. We haven't yet added that, but I think it will be very, very useful. We actually used it with the phone app, so we just accelerometer in the phone. So we use that, and I think, yeah, was it Laurie? You mentioned about the algorithm for walking. If we even have a phone just connected to your thigh, then we can already get something meaningful, because all the phones have access to accelerometers, so you can actually create an app. Cool. If there are no more questions, then I will just wrap up with the conclusions. So airbands, electrical muscle stimulation device, functional electrical stimulation device, neuromuscular electrical stimulation device. You can use it for physiotherapy, pain relief, neurological therapy, or you can use it for immersive experiences, or you can use our devices with our SDK to create any experiences you want. So reach out to us, info@valkyrievr.com, and we will send you some documents and contract T's and C's, sorry, so that it can be used only for non-commercial currently applications. If you want to create something and then build a commercial application, we will need to set up another agreement, but everything is possible. We're definitely reachable over emails. You can even reach out to me directly. It's Ivan@Valkyrie. I'll just put it in the chat as well. If you want to email me directly, then please do. Thank you very much for attending. It was a pleasure. Thank you for questions. And let's get people moving. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And a discount code I forgot to mention as well. Bushra just put a discount code on the chat. It's 20% for you as webinar attendees. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.